Smarterfan. Smarterfan. Yeah. Smarterfan.
Hey everybody, welcome to another segment of Smarter Fan Podcast, where all aspects of sports are on the table. I'm Joe, and this is Barry. How you doing, Barry?
Oh, I'm on fire tonight. I'm on fire. I woke up this morning about 4 a.m., stepped outside, and just felt that crisp air, which let me know football season is right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
Oh, Joe.
Yes, it is.
I'm feeling wonderful. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right.
Good. What you got going on? What are we kicking off? Listen to my language. What we kicking off tonight?
Yeah. Well, we're going to switch it up a little bit. Now, everybody knows, how the Williams sisters have been the black females that have dominated the sport of tennis for the past 20 years? Yeah. But the thing is, there has not been a black male dominant in the sport of tennis since Arthur Ashe.
Okay.
So I'm going to delve in a little bit into Mr. Ashe.
Oh, one of my favorites.
Yeah, okay. He was born in Richmond, Virginia to Arthur Ashe Sr. and Mattie Cordell Cunningham Ashe, but his mom died at an early age from, I think it was complications in the pregnancy and heart disease. So she died at 27.
Wow.
So, yeah. So his father raised him and his brother, Johnny, and his father was a caretaker, and they lived in a caretaker's cottage on the grounds of 18-acre Brookfield Park in Richmond, which is the largest blacks-only public playground, and that had 4 tennis courts. So that's where he started playing tennis. Yeah.
Wow.
At the age of 7, he started, and he caught the eye of the local tennis instructor, Ron Charity. Ash, he attended Maggie L. Walker High School, and Charity brought him to the attention of Robert Walter Johnson, the physician and coach, who coached Althea Gibson.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So Johnson coached and mentored Ashe at his camp from 53 to 60, and helped fine-tune his game. And he taught him the importance of racial socialization through sportsmanship etiquette. And that would help him throughout his career. He kept his composure and everything. And he was said, he was taught never to argue with the umpires. And if the ball was 2 inches on the line, to volley it back, So, in 58, he became the first African-American to play in the Maryland Boys Championships. And it was just, oh yeah. But he wasn't allowed to practice at any of the courts due to segregation in Richmond. So he moved to St. Louis, where he could compete more freely. And after lobbying from Johnson, he was granted permission to compete in the previously segregated interscholastic tournament which he won.
What a timeline. What's the probability of getting Althea's coach, who preceded him, and to lead him to be to the next iconic figure?
Well, that's how impressive he was at such a young age.
Yeah. So, Arthur Ashe he's one of those figures that is, in my humble opinion, like Muhammad Ali. He transcends sports.
Yes, definitely.
Especially during that time.
Yeah. So in 63, he became the first African-American to win the National Junior Indoor tennis title. And for that, he was awarded a tennis scholarship to UCLA. So he went to UCLA, and he became a member of the ROTC, and that required him to enter active military service after his graduation in exchange for money for his tuition. So, so in '66, to fulfill his military commitment, he joined the Army and he was assigned to West Point, where he became head of the Academy's tennis program.
Wow.
So, and to this day, he's the only black man to win singles titles at the U.S. Open, Australian Open, and Wimbledon.
Wow.
To this day. That's saying something.
Loud, very loud.
So he had heart surgery in '79, and he officially retired in 1980. And he became active in the fight against apartheid. In '83, he had a second heart surgery. And in '88, he wrote a 3-volume book called A Hard Road to Glory, A History of the African American Athlete.
That's right.
Which
is a must read for every athlete, but especially every African American athlete.
Yes, definitely. So then that same year, he was diagnosed with HIV that was believed to be the result of a blood transfusion, that he got from the second heart surgery he had. So, and in '92, he publicly announced that he contracted HIV. And in February of '93, he died of AIDS-related pneumonia. And ironically, Andrew Young, who performed this, the service at his wedding in '77, officiated at his funeral also.
It's heartbreaking.
It is. The governor of Virginia allowed his body to lie in state at the governor's mansion in Richmond, and he's buried next to his mother, which was his request, And in June of '93, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Clinton. And, and the main stadium in Flushing Meadows, where they have the U.S. Open, is named Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Yeah, it is.
So, there were so many accomplishments that I just couldn't list them all. So I just got in as much as I could.
Absolutely.
But he had so many accomplishments and did so many things, and he was just an amazing person.
Yeah, even when you go back and look at his YouTube interviews, they're so timeless. You almost think he's alive.
And he's so eloquent.
Yeah.
So what you got?
Oh, I'm on fire. This is the big football weekend. Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes is going down to TCU to light those Horned Frogs up. Every eye in the nation will be on that game. Every sports channel will be talking about the outcome of that game. It will be analyzed, overanalyzed, barbecued, fried, baked, in every which way possible. It's going to be an exciting weekend. Kickoff of the season this weekend with CU Buffs and the Horned Frogs. Had somebody hit me up and say, what do you think will happen? I said, I anticipate a win for Colorado. And he says, well, how are you going to come up with a win? I said, who's got tape on them? He said, what do you mean? He says, nobody's got tape on them. They don't know what's coming at them. They have no clue.
Yeah.
CU has tape, but they don't have tape because you got a whole new offense, defense, special teams, coaches. It's a whole new system. So the advantage is really to Colorado. He says, how do you think like that? I said, I used to a long time ago play the game. And I know a little bit about football. And that's the reality. So they're going to catch a lot of people with the pants down because you don't know what they're going to show you. You don't know what they're going to see. So he said, man, I said they could possibly get out to 3-0 very quickly because until people figure out what they're doing.
Right. Yeah.
They could get to 3-0, right? And they start building momentum, man. Then I call it everyone else starts playing scared because they don't know. And then when you have momentum and confidence, oh, it's on your side. You can roll. And then you start having people like Coach Prime and his staff. You know what I mean? He's really got a pro staff. It's just a lot of people don't really. He's got a pro staff and pro analytics. So they really got some advantages over the Pac-12. And that's why I think all these coaches, some of these coaches are looking silly, and some of their comments and their behavior is really showing that they're afraid. They're really afraid. They don't know how to make these adjustments. Because again, you got to look across the field and go, great in high school, great in college, Hall of Famer. One as a high school coach. Now he's one in the collegiate ranks and is moving up. What are you going to do with that?
Yeah. Well, hey, time will tell.
Time will tell, my friend. So that's what I have. But let me pitch the option to you.
Okay.
Billy Sims.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about NASCAR.
Ryan, my favorite subject.
Yeah. And Ryan Preece, he was involved in a horrific crash at Daytona last Saturday. And when, his teammate bumped him and, out of turn 4, and when he hit the infield, the car went airborne. And he flipped over at least 10 times. The car flipped over before landing on all 4 wheels. But like I was saying, he was able to climb out of the car with help, and then he was put on a gurney and sent to the hospital, where they observed he was there overnight for observation, and he was awake, alert, and mobile, which is the most important thing. So
it's only
But see, this is a testament to the safety measures that they put into these cars, because that car, if you see that car, but he's surrounded by a steel roll cage. He's got the 5-point seatbelt harness, and he's got the Hans device, which is keeps his head and neck from violent movement. It prevents it from, because those are the things that killed, Adam Petty, Dale Earnhardt Sr., and Blaze Alexander.
I don't even know how they drive these cars like that with all that stuff on. I have no idea how they do it.
Oh, yeah.
For hours, they're driving like that.
Yeah, for at least 3 hours. For at least 3 hours. So, and the Hans device, that was one of the major innovations that they did to prevent these things from happening, that like what happened to Dale Earnhardt Sr., So, but also the playoff series is starting for NASCAR. It's a 10-week 4-round battle to get to the season finale, which is going to be in Phoenix, with a winner-take-all match race for the series title. It features an elimination battle. And Mr. Wallace, who finished 12th in the race at Daytona, that qualified him to get the last playoff spot, along with his partner, Tyler Reddick. So both of Mr. Jordan's cars are going to be in the playoffs.
Nice.
Doing
better than his team did. Okay, nice.
Yeah, so he made the playoffs, and in the process, after he got his props from co-owner Denny Hamlin, and he got a big hug from Mr. Jordan. So we got to keep an eye on Mr. Wallace.
Absolutely,
he's doing good things.
Yeah, Bubba's no slouch. That boy knows how to drive a car. He knows how to drive. He's no slouch.
Oh yeah. So basically how the season works is the points are given by most wins, top 5 finishes, top 10 finishes, laps led, and stuff of that nature. Now, this year also marks the Diamond Anniversary of NASCAR.
Really?
Yes, and there were some notable milestones, like uh, February 22nd of 1959, which is my sister-in-law's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
They ran the very first Daytona 500, which Lee Petty took the checkered flag. And that was the beginning of that legacy of 4 generations of Pettys.
Mm, that's
So,
amazing history. You always get me with this history stuff. Man, it's hard keeping up with you.
and in 62, Wendell Scott was the first black driver to win a pole position.
Really?
And yeah, and 64, he became the first black driver to win a NASCAR National Series race. So that was that was a milestone in itself, you know. In 79, Richard Petty won his 7th cup title. And in 84, he won his 200th race, and it still has the record. 92 was his last race, and the first race for a 21-year-old named Jeff Gordon.
Wow.
So he was kind of like passing the torch, basically. And in 2013, Danica became the first woman to win a pole.
Wow.
So that's what I have on that.
That's what you got on that. Well,
Yeah.
I wanna go back and pose a question. Are we seeing right before our eyes the question I'm posing to you?
Mm-hmm.
Is the dismantling of major league sports, baseball, football, basketball? Have we been witnessing? I mean, the game always changes and evolves,
Yes.
but it is starting to look like a new animal. I don't care what sport you're looking at.
Mm.
And I don't know. I know we grew up in a time that the history of every game was very important.
Yes. Yes.
But that is not the case over the
No,
last
because
25 years.
the traditionalists are fading. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching how NFL films started basically on the wing of prayer,
Mm.
right? And the history of the game. I
Mm-hmm.
spent probably more time I've ever watching old football clips, and I'm literally watching a game of the Cowboys playing the Rams or the Cowboys, and I'm literally saying in my mind, okay, in '78, I was 13. In '77, I was 12. I mean, I actually could go to the game in my mind, know where I was living, knew my mom was alive, knew where I was sitting in the living room when I was watching that game the first time.
Mm. Oh yeah.
And I just the question came across my desk that because if you talk to these current fans, it's like disposable sports. They
Yeah.
don't have any history.
No. No
It's really
knowledge at all.
sad.
It is.
No knowledge at all. You put it perfectly. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I think we're seeing the demise of sports.
And the sad part is they don't have any interest in learning.
Well, I attribute it to the fact that I think it has a lot to do with how they grew up in a very disposable world. That if that makes any sense.
And short attention spans.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy. It's really,
You know?
really, really sad. And I'll give you an example. So Michael Irvin, we know, was at CU with Coach Prime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Coach Prime was talking that they were in the cafeteria eating lunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a number of the receivers, oh boy, walk by. I think
Mm-hmm.
this proves my point, and say nothing to Michael Irvin.
Mm.
Coach Prime stops him and says, "How are y'all gonna walk by this man? Do you know who he is? What he's done for the game? For those of you who make it to the next level, why you're able to get that kind of salary is
Mm-hmm.
because of men like him. And y'all gonna walk by him and not say anything?" And I said, there it goes again. Now,
Yeah.
to the other side of it, Warren Sapp is also there, and Coach Prime said, "Oh, the defensive personnel are losing their mind. They love him, Warren, more than anything. They just love him. You know what I mean?"
Right. Yeah.
But to the point that Coach Prime made is again that disposable lack of connection with history.
Mm.
Like I had to tell a couple of people this week. I said, black people, African American black people, have not been part of major league sports. The first game we're able to get in was 60 years ago in baseball.
Mm.
Everything
Yeah.
else is 40 years, 50 years. We haven't been here that long. And
Mm-mm.
people assume because you wake up in the morning, you see black people, it's always been this way. No, it
Nope.
hasn't. It
No.
hasn't. I mean, look at what you just shared with us about Arthur Ashe. And think about that. There still not has not been a major black tennis player
Right.
of that caliber. And you have to
Yes.
ask yourself, why?
Mm.
Is it
Yeah.
talent? There's no tennis talent out there, black tennis talent? I don't think so. So
It's,
it
it's,
poses a
it's
serious question as we
yeah.
delve deeper. That may be our running theme to discover. Maybe I can, because you're like 5-1 regarding history. So maybe this is my chance to catch up to you because you've been kicking my butt on this history. Kicking my butt. Mm.
Yeah.
But I
Well,
think we need to, explore that. Why?
definitely, definitely, because it's sad. It really is sad the way sports have, the uh the aspect of it, the baseball's trying everything they can to attract the young audience,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. It seems to me like they're going about it the wrong way. Uh,
I agree with you.
and there are only a handful of teams now that are watchable because the Yankees aren't.
Mm.
And the Braves are a perfect example. This is what I meant by the model team. The Braves, they hit for power and they hit for average and they don't strike out a lot. Everything that's wrong with the Yankees.
Well, last time I checked, that's called baseball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Well,
so,
it's their system though. It's the players that they get, the farm system that they've developed,
mm-hmm.
and the philosophy that
Mm-hmm.
they're using. And it's a winning philosophy. That's why the Braves are running away with the division.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
know?
think, I think, I think that's you're gonna see that. I think it's always existed, but I think we're gonna see that more and more as we wrap up. Is that it's the organizations that have culture are going to
Yes.
be are organizations that rise to the top consistently,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because what's really happening in Kansas City is culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's culture.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, when the New England had its run, it was culture. Still is culture.
Yes.
Culture wins because it draws a certain type of player. There's a certain type of
Mm-hmm.
philosophy. There's certain type of understanding. And so when the culture is clear, your chances of winning increase.
No
The
doubt.
Giants now find themselves in that position with
Hmm.
Dayball.
Yes.
They may just, because they're one of those franchises. In a 10-year period, they're going to be making a run for a Super Bowl or two
Mm.
because of
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Mara and culture. And so that's the really the secret sauce. It's not talent, quote unquote, it's culture. Can you develop a winning culture,
Mm.
an idea and identity that people can and players can and coaches can be drawn to,
Mm.
um, that you can make a run?
Yeah. And the Jets are developing that type of culture that's going to attract players.
Oh yeah. With Aaron back there, I can tell you this: if Aaron is able to stay healthy for the next 3 years, the Jets will be a totally different organization.
No doubt.
They'll be a totally different organization.
Yeah,
hands down.
Yeah. He's bringing the organization credibility. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you can't be on the offensive side. You can't be on the ball, but on the offensive side of the ball, and not perform because he'll let you know.
Oh yeah. Cobb already told the receivers, y'all better pick it up because if you don't, he's not going to throw you the ball.
Yeah.
He already told them.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's culture. So now you're going to get guys who are balling. Balling. But it's going to pay off because they're going to get wins, right? So they're going to learn how to be champions, learn how to win. Learn how to win, and then you learn how to become a champion. Right?
Now, how much you want to bet that in the near future, Davante Adams is a Jet?
You mean the kid from Minnesota?
The Raiders. Is he? Yeah, he's with the Raiders. The receiver, Davante Adams.
Oh, if that happens, oh my goodness! If that happens, the Jets people are already crazy, but they'll be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
That's for sure.
No, I'm telling you, I got a good friend who's a Jet fan, and on this note, he is already cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. If that happens, he's already. I can't even tell you the things that he's doing. I have to say that for next week. So people, Smarterfan podcast at you again with always the history of the game, the ins, the outs, the behind the veils, the secrets, and always Joe's secret sauce. You're never gonna know what Joe's gonna come out with from week to week. He's always cooking in the kitchen. What you got to say, Joe?
Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
You're such a ham. All right, good people. Smarterfan podcast back at you next week. Same bad channel, same bad time.
All right, peace.
Smarterfan.